Hello everyone and welcome to Sandra's Crafting Corner. This video is part of the Foodie DIY challenge hosted by Nadia from DIY with Nadia, and her co-hosts this month are Trish and Kay from the Crafting Cousins. I'll have their channels listed below in the description box as well as the playlist. Now on to the DIY. The items you'll need are 4 pumpkin signs from the Dollar Tree, this sign from Hobby Lobby, some 10 gauge wire, and lots of ribbon that you can get at the Dollar Tree. And not pictured is a hula skirt from Dollar Tree or raffia, a dark orange sunflower floral pick from the Dollar Tree, and some leaves from a floral pick from the Dollar Tree as well. The first thing I do is take this sign and rip off the ribbons on the back that they used to hang it with. Then I take some sandpaper and rough it up a little bit so it'll accept the paint, and also to make sure none of this paint leaves any raised areas. Next, I will take this moss paint from Waverly and I will paint this whole sign with multiple coats. However, I do not worry about painting the back. The next step is to dismantle all 4 signs from the Dollar Tree. I will take everything off because I will be using the front as the back. This process is very messy, so I do advise that you lay down some paper to collect all the glitter that comes off. Now it's time to prepare the backs of the pumpkins for paint. I will remove the UPC sign as well as cut the bottoms off to make them even. Now I'm just going to use some sandpaper to rough up the pumpkin as well as smooth out the bottom that I had to cut off. Using the Waverly chalk paint in pumpkin, I'm going to paint all of the pumpkins. Now I'm going to take the Waverly chalk paint in truffle and paint the stems of the pumpkins. Only using the paint that is left over in my brush, I'm going to put on the little accents of the pumpkins. Using my Cricut, I made this decal to go onto the sign. I also printed out each individual letter of the word fall for each individual pumpkin. Next, I measured out the placement of where I wanted the ribbon on each pumpkin. I measured in 1/2 inch and then measured over 5/8 of an inch, which was the width of my ribbon. On my sign, I measured the center of it and then used the pumpkin to transfer the measurements up to my sign. But after I remeasured, I realized that it wasn't centered, so I just recentered and then made new marks. Taking this beautiful ribbon from Dollar Tree, I'm going to cut 4-inch strips, and I will need 8 of them. Here is a close-up of that beautiful ribbon. I will take that ribbon and measure in 1 inch on each side, so that way each one of my signs will hang 2 inches apart. Using hot glue, I will put on the ribbons using those marks to line up the bottom of this sign to the top of the next sign. Using this sewing mat as a guide, I put my pumpkin 2 inches below the sign on the top to make sure that the ribbons are in the place they need to be before I glue them in. Once they are, I glue them down. Using the same method, I will put on my second pumpkin. I will use this same method all the way down my sign. Because I only had 2 of each sign, 2 of the Hello Fall pumpkins and 2 of the Friend pumpkins, I had to go with this pattern. It is the Hello Fall pumpkin and then the Friend pumpkin. You will need to do this with the L's as well. I hope this makes sense because it was very hard to explain what I was trying to get across. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in the comments below. Now I'm going to drill 2 holes in the sign and then put these eye hooks in them. Make sure you keep the drill level with the ground and not the sign. Then take a long length of the 10 gauge wire to make this design on your sign. You might need a pair of pliers to help you along with this. Now just even everything out. Now I'm going to make the messy bow that I learned how to make from the Crafting Cousins channel. I am cutting all of these ribbons at 11 inches. Of course, I had to include Trish's favorite ribbon. I'm going to take this floral wire, but later I use twine because I don't recommend this. I just lay down my wire and then I will lay down the ribbons crisscrossing or straight across, starting with the big ribbon and then going to the medium ribbon and then going to the small ribbon. As long as you follow that pattern, it really doesn't matter what pattern of ribbon you use or which one comes next. Remember, it's called a messy bow for a reason. Now you're just going to gather them all up using the wire. I didn't like the way the wire was gathering them, so then I switched to the twine. I'm just going to take the twine and wrap it around the ribbons and tie it off in the back. You want to make sure that the twine is tied in the center of all the ribbons. Now you're just going to take each ribbon and fluff them up. I'm going to take each ribbon, fold it in half, and then cut a triangle off of it to make a dovetail on each end of each ribbon. Once that is finished, I'm going to take the twine that's on the back and tie it onto the back of my wire on my sign. Once you do that, you're going to want to fluff your ribbon again. Using this raffia from a hula skirt I got this summer at the Dollar Tree, I'm going to decorate the bow. I'm just going to cut off a bunch and then tie it in a single knot. Now I'm going to cut off the ends, but I'm going to do it in a random fashion. I want it to be shorter than any of the ribbons on the bow. The knot was causing too much bulk, so I took my pliers and flattened it out as flat as I could. After that, I fluffed it and glued it in place. Next thing I did was glue some leaves onto the bow. I completely cut off the stem of this dark orange sunflower from a pick from the Dollar Tree and glued that on as well. Now that that's finished, I'm going to turn it around and hot glue the bow in place. After that dried, I turn it back around and add these leaves to each one of the pumpkins on the front of the sign. And here it is, hanging on my front door. What do y'all think? I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. Don't forget to check out DIY with Nadia and the Crafting Cousins channel below in the description box, as well as the playlist of this challenge. If you're new here and like what you saw, please consider subscribing to my channel and ringing that bell to be notified of my future videos. If you're not new here, welcome back. Would you please like, comment, and share my video? Thank you, and take care.